Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this, and in this video I'm going to give you my Game of the Year awards for 2014. I'm a month late, but it took a while. Normally, yes, I like to get all dressed up and do my hair, but I figured that that would be a representation of how I felt about last year, and I did not feel very happy about last year in terms of video games. So I figured we'd just do it normally. Now, you have the option to vote for your Game of the Year in my little poll. Link in the description. I'll keep the link live and open for you guys to vote until I do your video, which will probably be in the next couple of days. So go and vote on that if you haven't. I mean, I've got a few categories here, and I'm going to read them out now. We've got Best Remake, Best Multiplayer, Most Surprising, Best Downloadable Game, Biggest Disappointment, Worst Game, Honourable Mentions, and then, of course, Game of the Year. So to cock tease you guys, we're going to start off with Best Remake, which I think we can all agree goes to Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm not a big fan of Grand Theft Auto 5, but I think that their remake was definitely the best for all that they added. I mean, The Last of Us was a very close second, but yes, Grand Theft Auto 5 wins that. I mean, I don't think you could really debate that unless you're a massive Last of Us fan. But yeah, so we're going to breeze through some of these categories quick because I want to talk a little bit longer about everything else. My Best Multiplayer Award, Call of Duty. It's the only multiplayer game I played all year. I should also preface that these are games I've played. So where's X and Y? Kieran, haven't played it. Where's this small indie game that somebody gave Game of the Year award to? Haven't played it. You know I'm a big fan of AAA shit, and sadly that is reflected in all my nominations. So hashtag deal with it. But yeah, it was the only multiplayer I played. I played maybe 4 games. And it was fun. That beat everything else that I didn't play the multiplayer of. I don't like multiplayer, so that's just to stir some controversy, but there is some controversial picks later on, some surprising picks, so I should probably just get on with it and we'll get out of here. My most surprising game that I thought was going to be okay or bad, and it turned out to be really good, Shadow of Mordor, which will definitely be re-emerging later on, so I can talk about that one later. My number 4 thing. Okay, best downloadable game. Now, downloadable to me is because Xbox and PlayStation are trying, and Steam are changing our mind on what a downloadable game is. By downloadable, I mean you can only download it. Although, ironically, I just realised that 2 of these you can buy on disc. But you know what I mean. So, you know, Xbox Live Arcade, do they still call it the arcade? I don't think they do. Or, you know, the PlayStation Network games that you download and so forth, so on. I did 3 because I thought it was a very good year for downloadable games. Some honourable mentions, Abe's Odyssey. Shadow, it's not called Shadow. Contrast on PlayStation 4 I really liked. Octodad or whatever it's called I really liked. But I had to narrow it down to 3. So at number 3, Child of Light. Child of Light's an amazing game. It's really atmospheric, the art style's really nice, it sounds great, looks great, plays great. It's by Ubisoft and it's really good. Apparently everything was hand-drawn. I don't know if I'm talking up my ass there, but I got the special edition and it come with a little key light chain if anyone cares. But yes, definitely a great game. And my good games here, if you haven't played them, you should go and pick them up now because there's really nothing else coming out for a while, so you've got time to play them. So if you haven't played some of these games, consider them. Number 2, Valiant Hearts. Great story. Good gameplay for what it is. But yeah, it's a great story. It's a great, you know, couple of hours worth of entertainment for what you pay. It's definitely a great game if you choose to download it. So go ahead and download it. And of course, the best downloadable game, which truthfully, if I wasn't so nitpicky with my categories, would probably be high in my top, you know, actual games of the year, would be The Wolf Among Us. The Wolf Among Us is by far the best game Telltale have done, at least in their little episodic stuff. I know somebody's going to go off about Monkey Island or some shit, but definitely, if you have not played The Wolf Among Us, you have to go and buy it. You have to play it because it is amazing. 5 episodes, they're doing season 2, I believe. But yes, if you haven't played it, go out and play it. Great story, great choices, great gameplay. Looks great, plays great, and now it's on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 if you threw away your old gen. You can just go buy it. And it is on disc, and so is Child of Light. So don't let the internet dictate to you what you can and can't download, because you can also buy it on disc. So no excuses. Alright, we've gone from number 4 to number 5. Biggest disappointment. We'll also be talking about this game later on, and that of course is Destiny. I was thinking hard because I was really looking forward to Watch Dogs, but I had my suspicions. and there wasn't a beta or anything like that I could play, and then Assassin's Creed also. But again, I had my suspicions. Destiny looked fucking amazing. It played fucking amazing in the beta and the alpha that I got to play. And then it let me down because it's a steaming pile of shit. Which we'll get into now, shall we? Okay, this is what everyone Oh no, I've got another one. Most overrated game. I thought The Evil Within was by far the most overrated game of this year. I'm tempted to say Alien, but I didn't play Alien, so I can't. But the IGN went spastic for it, probably because the person who reviewed it used to be the account manager for Bethesda up in Sydney. You didn't hear it from me. But I don't get it. I thought it played like shit, it looked like shit, it had the black bars I couldn't stand, the story was, you know, cliche Japanese horror bullshit. I didn't like it, I thought it was crap. But everyone was like, it's the best game ever. No, it's fucking not. Okay, moving on, we're to the worst games. The worst games. Now, I'm going to cause some controversy here, but I truly believe that these games are just not disappointing. I believe that they're actually really shitty. So, number 3 is Assassin's Creed Unity. Now, I didn't have any of the graphical or, you know, collision or whatever problems that a lot of people had. Like I said in my last video, I just had the game bug where it was a boring piece of shit. The gameplay was horrible. The changes to the already somewhat broken combat system was not pleasant and was not nice. Making the assassin blade contextual, the even harder to perform climbing, the stealth was still shitty. The story was a convoluted mess about nothing and nobody cared about. The character was unlikable. I don't really like French people. That's a lie. I like French people. You're cool. You know what I mean? It was just a big pile of shit. And again, I don't want to get confused. I don't want people to think, oh, Kieran, it's just sour grapes because you were really looking forward to these games and because they tanked. You think they're a lot worse than they are, because definitely number 2 and 1 we might get some conversations about. But my second worst game of this year is Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs was terrible. The driving was terrible, the combat was terrible, the gameplay was terrible, the story was a mess. I honestly thought I missed like the first hour of the game off the disc, because he's like, oh, we can't kill people, these people are killing people, which is wrong, and then you just kill people. With no story. I mean, at least in like Tomb Raider, she has to do it. In this, it's like, oh, just kill them, fuck it. I thought the hacking turned into nothing more than QuickTime events. The story was a mess, the characters were completely unlikable. I mentioned the combat was shitty, the driving was shitty, the radio stations were shitty. It looked pretty good, but, you know, nothing as to what we were told it was going to look like, which you have to expect, I suppose, but still, what they did to that game was terrible. But definitely with these next two, with Watch Dogs and my worst game of the year, I'm sick of being told, well, it's okay, this is, you know, it's our first attempt, just we'll see what they have on the second time. Not good enough! Make a first solid fucking good base, like a lot of games have done. Saints Row did it, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Fallout. We can continue with all these games that had a solid starting base that wasn't built on shit. So then, it's just, I'm sick of hearing, oh, well, they'll add better stuff later. It's not acceptable. Make a good game now, and then make a greater game, and a better, and so forth, so on. Like a lot of, like, all these games behind me have done, with the exceptions of Unity, Watch Dogs, and my worst game of 2014 goes to none other than Destiny. And I know what a lot of you are thinking, but Kieran, you praised the gameplay and stuff like that. I thought the gameplay was fine. But what makes this the worst game is how it was when it first came out. I know a lot of you thinking, but Kieran, they've added stuff and they've added this stuff. It's not good enough. If I'm not invested in the game at the start, what the hell makes me want to go back to it now that they've added 4,000 expansion packs? I don't care. I thought the game was absolute shit. I thought it was monotonous. The story was a convoluting mess about shit that nobody cared about. Your character just woke up from the dead and was like, oh cool, we're killing aliens now, with no explanation. The vocal performances in this ham-fist production are the real terror. That's a line from The Office if you watch. What else was wrong with Destiny? The story, the characters, I thought the missions were all the same. It's not that I thought that, it's a fact. And it was sold to me as something that it's not. It wasn't sold to me as a platform. Oh, it's this 10-year platform. It's going to get better with all these expansion packs. Bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit. Destiny was the worst game of 2014 that I played. It was terrible, and I didn't invest in a platform. I invested in a game that could have been a platform, but it lost me the moment I started playing it, and there is no way I would ever go back to that. So yes, that's what makes Destiny my worst game, because the potential and then what it turned out to be was a monotonous, boring piece of shit. You can agree with me, you don't have to agree with me, but again, I didn't really play a lot of terrible, terrible games this year, which is what I'm sure if I played Duck Dynasty, that would probably be worse, but unfortunately I didn't get the chance to. Now, we're on to the meat and vegetables of this motherfucker. My Game of the Year, 2014, I've done 5, so you might have mentioned I did 3 top downloadable, 3 worst games, but I've decided to do 5 Game of the Year contenders in order, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But some honourable mentions first of games I thought were really good that just didn't cut the mustard. At number 6, if I went up to 10, would definitely be Far Cry. I really liked Far Cry, but I thought it wasn't different or engaging enough to make my top 5. It was very similar to Far Cry 3, which is not a bad thing, but I just didn't get the sense that it could beat out these other 5 games that I chose to pick. Donkey Kong, I really loved, but unfortunately, there were things in that I wasn't a big fan of, which is why you haven't made the top 5 either. Advanced Warfare, again, I'm a single-player guy. I played the Advanced Warfare single-player, and I really, really digged it. But at the end of the day, there are better games than you, sorry. And of course, the other honourable mention is Sniper 3. I'm a big fan of the Sniper series. They're somewhat bad games, but I really like them. Right, let's get into it. My 5th favourite game of 2014 is Infamous. I'm a big Infamous fan, and I thought Infamous Last Light, that's not what it's called. What is it called? Infamous Seconds, what the hell is Infamous Last Light? Is that a thing? Anyway, Infamous, the main game, not the DLC, I think that's what I'm getting confused with. Infamous, what is it again? Second Son, fucking hell, I'll get it, don't worry, probably should have rehearsed. I just wrote Infamous, I thought that would have been good enough, but apparently it's not. Infamous, I loved it, I'm a big fan of Infamous, I love the combat, I love the way that you can choose to be good or bad, I really like the character, I really like the story, Troy Baker knocked it out of the park again, as he always does. I like the powers, I like the city. My only complaint is that I kind of 100%ed it and there was jack shit else to do, but other than that I thought it was an amazing game. That's a must-have if you own a PlayStation 4, so you should probably go out and get it right now. Now, no, that fucking bird, man, it's ruining my shit. I don't know if you can hear it, I got my good microphone plugged in, hopefully you can't, but the bird is just, it won't shut up. You're ruining my Game of the Year video, bitch! Right, number 4. Now this one's gonna cause some comments. If you have not played, I can't believe I'm gonna give this a Game of the Year award. Number 4, not number 1, but number 4 is Sherlock Holmes. The new one that came out. Holy shit, did I have a fucking blast playing that goddamn game. I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan. I really like the performances of the actors. I really like the story. I really like the choices. And it's just a fun game to sit down one weekend and really smash out because it's not that long. But you can go back and you can play it 1,000 times and have different endings, different cases that you finish differently and stuff like this. There's one case that has like 9 different outcomes, and there are quite a few cases in the game that all lead up to the ultimate ending, and that can be different as well. I really liked it. It was funny in parts. It was quirky. It was really cool. So that's why Sherlock Holmes gets my number 4 Game of the Year. My number 3 Game of the Year, which I feel a lot of people forgot because it came out very early last year, and that is Wolfenstein: The New Order. I'm not a big Wolfenstein fan. I don't like id Software. I think their games are pure shit, as they have shown to be in the past couple of years, which is why I got excited when Wolfenstein was shipped off to a different developer who knocked it out of the park. I thought the story was very good. I thought the gameplay was amazing. The gun combat was really nice. I liked the character, BJ Blazkowicz. I liked the setting, I liked the premise, I liked the whole game. I thought it was really good, and I got all the collectibles, and I got all the achievements, or most of the achievements. I didn't beat it on the hardest difficulty. I thought that would have been a bit far. But yes, Wolfenstein, if you haven't played it, it's probably like 20 bucks now. Go out, get it. So this is a good list, as I say every year, that if you just got an Xbox or a PlayStation or a PC even, for Christmas or Hanukkah or that black thing, what's it called? Is it like a made-up white thing to make black people feel better about Christmas? Kwanzaa or something like that? I don't know. We don't have that here for obvious reasons. What is it? I have to Google it later. Yeah, if you got one of those presents, do they do presents? I don't know. But yeah, if you got an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4 or a PC, these are 5 games that you should go out and get because they're all going to be cheap as shit now anyway. Or actually, maybe wait a couple of months because somebody else might be giving them Game of the Year and they'll come up with a Game of the Year edition. So, I would like to see, however, my top game of the year, the KieranMFilms Game of the Year edition. Make it happen. Right, number 3, Wolfenstein. That's a great first-person shooter. If you haven't played it already, go out and play it, please. Right, I don't need that anymore. I can memorize the other two. Now, as soon as I say number 2, you're going to guess what my number 1 is. So, my number 2, Titanfall. How could you not have a better game than Titanfall? That's a lie. My number 2 game is Dragon Age. Dragon Age 3. It's not Dragon Age 3. It's Dragon Age. Is it Dragon Age 3? Dragon Age. No, it's just Dragon Age Inquisition. Okay, well, I'm going to call it Dragon Age Inquisition then. That's a great. I should have probably wrote the full title down. I have a very lapsed memory. But yes, Dragon Age Inquisition is an amazing game. I'm a big BioWare fan, as I'm sure all of you would know by now. So I really liked it. I really liked everything about it. The story, the choices, the character, the customization. I really liked the fact that you could build your own kind of army and do all the little side mission-y stuff. The world I thought was amazing. I had my problems with it playing as a rogue, because you should not play as anything but a mage in Dragon Age because they're overpowered as fuck. But yes, Dragon Age, great game. It's a shame that you really have to sink 120 hours into it like I believe I did. But yeah, I clocked it. I don't think there's really much, because normally when you finish like a game like Mass Effect or Dragon Age or Skyrim or stuff like that, you do the side quest stuff, but then once you finish the main missions, you go back and there's still all this shit left. I conquered everything almost. So there's really no point for me going back. However, it's definitely an amazing game, which of course would lead to my top number 1 game of 2014 that nobody saw coming, Call of Duty Advanced Warfighter. Now, that's not what it's called either. Why am I... What the fuck? Advanced Warfare. What is it? Call of Duty, it's not even here. Anyway, whatever the new Call of Duty is, that's good. Activision, the check came, it cleared, so we're all good. And that's my Game of the Year video. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you do realise I am kidding, because of course the best game of 2014, in my humble opinion, is... I'm trying to think of another troll bait game to say, but I can't really, so I'm just going to come out and say it. Shadow of Mordor is by far my favourite game of 2014. It was Dragon Age. It was Dragon Age, Dragon Age, Dragon Age. And then I put in Shadow of Mordor and played the DLC because I got the season pass. And I did that. I'm like, I remember why I loved this game so much. So Shadow of Mordor, you get it. It's not as strong. It's not as good of a game as Dragon Age is, but I like it more, which is why it's my game of the year. The story can't compete, but the gameplay I think is a lot better. I really love the system with the generals and like the Uruk army. And I really liked every time you would run into them, they would say something different, something quirky, something Ranger. You know, I love doing that voice. It scares people sometimes. But yes, it's an amazing game that came out of fucking nowhere. It really did, and hopefully they're working on some good downloadable content and a good sequel, because they have built. Get this Destiny, get this Titanfall, get this Watch Dogs, get this fucking half the other shit games that came out this year. They built a solid base their first try. Interesting, I know, it's a strange concept, but definitely my game of the year, and if you have not played it, you totally should, because it is amazing. And I believe GameSpot also gave it to their Game of the Year awards as well. I believe it won, which is cool beans, man. But definitely, so if you haven't played any of those games, go out and play them now, because there is nothing coming out until February when Evolve comes out. But I'm going to do a separate video on that, because I'm not too chuffed about what's going on at the Evolve studio offices. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, rate, comment, and subscribe. Again, link in the description if you want to go and fill out your game of the year. So until next time, rate, comment, and subscribe. Au revoir.